Hey friends, did you know that fear is the biggest emotion traders have to deal with and learn how to manage? Well, I'm going to be covering the 5 major fears that all traders have to go through. You're going to be really shocked by what number 1 is, but you're going to want to watch this video all the way to the end. That's all I ask. Why? Because the big money-making part of the video will be at the end. This is Dennis, the Autopilot Trader. Welcome to Trade Your Way to Freedom. This week's session includes not only the solutions to the 5 major fears, but also 3 great stocks that are potentially setting up after a pullback for a big gain to the upside prior to the end of the year. If this is the first time you've joined us on the YouTube channel, Market Tech Talk, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and leave a comment. Tell me what stock you're trading. I'll do just like I did last week. I'll go and I'll let you know what I think, do a real quick analysis of the stock you're trading. And so you ready to go? Let's jump into today's session right now. Okay, well, good afternoon, everybody. Let's get going today's session. I want to start basically with just saying that, I don't want you to miss out on the upside profits. And so to make sure that you get everything you want out of this video, or this episode, please watch it all the way to the end, because the money-making part is towards the end, and we'll be sharing some good tips, hacks, and strong stock picks going into this week. I want to welcome you to today's session. Please leave comments in the comment section if you're watching live on the Zoom channel, and if you're watching on the Market Tech Talk YouTube channel, just go ahead and drop a comment in the comment section there. Let me know what you're trading. What are the things you're excited about trading? So let's go ahead and jump into the rest of the day's session right now. Anil will not be joining us today. He is visiting family, but he did phone in his stock pick for today. So that's awesome. So objective of today's session is to, 1, provide some focus on developing a consistently profitable mindset, which is always important, provide clear and simple trading tips, and also provide a community of like-minded traders. With that being said, I love what Mark Minervini says, and I think I'm going to be repeating this particular quote a lot over the next few weeks, because Mark talks about, and Mark Minervini and Mark Douglas talks about, identify one single process and then get really good at developing in that particular process. And so the key to success in the market is to have a plan and stick to it, even when it's uncomfortable. It's the trader who can manage their emotions and stay disciplined that come out on top. I know that many people are challenged, managing those emotions. We never really control our emotions, but we can decide ahead of time how we want to react to them. And that helps us with and then that's being covered in our trading plan. So what are our trading secrets for this week? Well, 1, I'm going to address fears common to traders. Now, you can lay in and let me know what maybe one of your fears that you're afraid of. Leave a comment in the comment section. But what are fears common to traders? Number 1, the fear of losing money. This is often the most significant fear we as traders have. Why? It basically, that emotion of losing money is really, really strong. I was talking to a friend of mine, a really good friend, longtime friend, wanted to start trading with me and start following the system. He basically said, well, he said, I have, $15,000, $20,000. I want to be able to invest and do this. But however, his wife came in and said, well, is there a risk of losing money? And I tried to explain to her the aspect of calculated risk and how, yes, there's risk about everything in life. She wasn't going for it. So instead of buying, investing and starting to learn how to trade and make some money, you know what he did with the money? He bought a new set of golf clubs and now is, basically, and I don't know what his investments are doing. So fear of losing money. The solution, follow a solid risk management plan. Fear of the unknown. How do you take care of the fear of the unknown? Well, one of the ways is to learn expectations by paper trading. In other words, you lay out your plan, lay out your paper trading system, paper trade it, and it can help you with the expectations. Number 3, fear of making a mistake. 1, stop labeling your mistakes as being bad. That can lead to negative self-talk. Just look at it. If I make a mistake, if I fat finger a trade or an order and it turns out to go against me, I have to use that as an opportunity to learn. Those are the solutions. Fear of market volatility. It goes back to the plan and the strategy and the practice. Is the solution to that. Markets are going to be volatile. Sometimes they're more volatile than others. And so how do we get around that? Well, the major way we get around that is to have practiced, have developed a strategy, and some people even write it into their plan. Well, if the market gets too volatile, I just won't trade, because cash is a position also. And then number 5, which I would say this one kind of ranks towards the top as far as I'm concerned, is the fear of missing out. If you follow your plan and avoid being impulsive, your plan should get you in and out of trades at the right time, right place, and with a good, solid foundation. So which of these is your biggest fear? Just drop a note in the chat box. Which of these is your biggest fear? And Mark, the fear of the Fed chairman shooting off his mouth. Hey, we don't have to wait too long for that to happen. That's going to happen next Wednesday at 9:30 Eastern time. So that could be a market mover along with the PMI coming out. What else? Who else has got FOMO? Yeah, Solomon. I agree wholeheartedly. FOMO. I am basically going to ask you to help me take this survey. And here's what it is. Which is more important to you? Trading tips, stock picks, or index analysis? Make a choice. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Part of the way you can get rid of your fear of trading or fear in trading is to have a really good routine. I offer the precision entry point routine. Some of you have already gotten this training session or training. It's a great place. I will put a link down in the description in the YouTube channel and also on the email when I send it out. But I cover our 3 precision entry points and what they look like. And then on top of that, I provide over $400 worth of other additional training for this. And you can get that directly from Autopilot Trading. What about our index analysis for the week? So here's where we basically finished up the week. Down slightly from last week. As you recall, I was sitting up about 20%. I'm down about a percentage point this week. The indexes have just been kind of wishy-washy. Okay, thanks, Gary. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. And this is where we wound up this week. All the indexes are still up. Dow was down, is basically not doing, it's the lagger of the group, but the 3 that I track are the S&P, the NASDAQ, and the Russell, with the NASDAQ and the Russell being my favorite, and they tend to move the most. So before we get into the index analysis, let's go ahead and look at what about our stock picks for this week. And you're going to like this. Is Anil's stock pick is ATKR. ATKR is basically, it has an SMR of A, accumulation distribution of a B minus. Yeah, accumulated distribution of A minus. And then up-down volume of 1.5 and a comp rating of 94. What I'm seeing from this, now Anil is going to trade this a little bit different than I would, but what I'm seeing of this is basically doing it in a nice little cup. See if it puts in a handle and pulls back down. Anil may be buying this right where it's at. I'm a pullback trader, so I would look at trading it back into the pullback range, which would be about maybe the midsection of that candlestick right there. But it's got really great ratings. It's been a strong contender on the IBD 50 list all week, not all week, but all year long. So ATKR, excellent entity. it does not have weekly options, and so I would be just nice looking stock though. Again, see what it does. Is this a cup and handle type of formation where it's going to pull back a little bit and then break out? So just keep your eye on it. Take out that high. You've got up to about 153 before it would run into resistance. My stock pick for the week is FTNT. Fortinet, this stock has been doing exceptionally well. I like it because it basically has got put into a nice setup, a bull flag down into support. Our momentum on the weekly chart has already shifted to the upside. So I'm liking this. If I close back above the 8-day moving average where it currently is at, I would look at potentially being a buyer here. I will take a look at how far is my stop loss. As you can see, my stop loss would be down about the $68.58 level. And so that's only about a 4% stop loss. So I'm well within my parameters for my stop loss. And let's see what else we have. On the FTNT, the SMR from IBD is an A. The up-down ratio is 1. The accumulation distribution was up about an A on this one, and the comp on it was 99%. This is an excellent looking pullback, low volume pullback. This is what you want to be looking at, low volume pullback. We're at support. So anywhere in there, or just, if, like I said, if I close above the 8-day moving average where it's at right now, that could be a trigger to get in. If it doesn't, then I would be looking at a pullback into the wick of today's candlestick. The wick of today's candlestick. I really like that. But anyway, FTNT, again, it has also been a strong performer on the IBD watch list all year long so far. So that's what we have for that. And let's go ahead and jump over into the indexes themselves. Earlier today, the IBD was basically saying that the indexes were down, as you can see with the spiders. They're down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row. If you look at the cycle of these stocks, normally that's about, the cycle will be like 5 days down, 2 or 3 days up. But since I've had 5 days down, that's telling me that the tone or the personality of the stock is starting to, or the ETF, or in this case, the index is starting to change. The other thing to keep your eye on, and another thing to keep your eye on, is we have a bearish reversal signal on the weekly chart on the S&P. The longer term momentum on all the index is starting to show some weakness and rolling over. I would encourage you, go back this weekend and look to see what happened the last time these indexes rolled over. Like here's one here, here's one here, here's one here. But these two right here, 1, 2, pay a particular attention to them, because this particular potential rollover right here, I think, is going to emulate number 1 and number 2. So just take a picture and take a snapshot of that. How many weeks in a row did it fall before it stopped? That'll give you some target to the downside. And the other thing I would do is throw on a Fibonacci. Let me grab a Fibonacci here. And I just do this simple Fibonacci right here from low high. And if it pulls back 50%, it's going to pull back into right there, the 413 level. So I'm liking somewhere between the 420 and the 413 level. And that right now is about $14 less than what it's currently sitting at. So what about the NASDAQ? NASDAQ also, again, I'll shift over here to the weekly chart. What kind of a pattern do I have here? I have a bearish Harami, which is a bearish reversal signal. At the same time, what we may get is a pullback. We've dropped if we close below the 8, look for it to drop down just a little bit further, low volume. It would not surprise me to see us bounce up a little bit, or maybe even go up and break out of this. But if it does, watch the momentum indicators to find out, are they basically showing us negative or negative divergence, which would indicate that, hey, we may be getting ready to fall a little bit more here. Also check out here this 1, 2, 3. This is a triple top or a head and shoulders pattern on the TSI. It has taken out that low right there, which means that I've got more energy on this entity on the NASDAQ pointing to the downside, I will say that and caveat it with the following, is that right now, the NASDAQ is still one of the strongest of the indexes. And so we'll be just looking for where it might turn around at, and there's a good level right there at the 357.81 level. Russell's getting the snot beat out of it a little bit today. As you can see, we put in a bearish engulfing last week, followed by another bearish dark cloud cover on Monday, and then it is sold off. And it has sold off almost all the way down to the 200-day moving average. So let's I'll be paying attention to this on, what's it going to do here? This would be a perfect area for it to do a little bit of a bounce and move back up towards the moving average. And then let's say it takes between now and the mid part of July to kind of hammer around in this area here. Then August, September tend to be weak months. And so I would look for that to auto correct down to the downside in that area. If, however, we break through the 200-day moving average right there, look for it to go back down and retest down here at the 175 area, all the way down here to this lower level here, just above 168.49, down in this area. So this area down here would be my downside target. And again, I can throw on a Fibonacci on this, and this is what's really cool. Throw a Fibonacci on this, but this time we're going to take backing off to the downside. So I'm going to go from this low here to that high. Now, if it drops down into that level, you've got a gap up. So resistance at 175.91, or support, excuse me. And then the next support is, okay, right down here, about the 167 level. As you can see, that is a level of past support also. And then this last level down here at the 1618 is down at 161.92. And you can see just slightly below this level of support identified by the purple is very, very strong. So basically, that's what we've got for today, folks. That kind of sums it up. Again, I hope Anil has a good time with his family. And anybody have any questions or any stock you want me to take a look at, since we're running a little bit? We've got a little bit of time. One of the things I am following very closely is Tesla. I am posting just a live little 30-second to 45-second to a minute post over on my Instagram account, and I'm posting a live, not a live, but a video, little short video over on the YouTube channel, Market Tech Talk. So if you haven't, registered at Market Tech Talk, please go ahead and do that. You will get an update on that. And here's what I'm doing with Tesla is I'm going to explain what I'm looking at step by step, so that it will allow people to trade along with me with this one. But my idea is I want to get some money in your pocket. And secondly, I want to be ready for that levers ETF trade, which is the TSLL, to be able to get into that. So what do I have for Tesla right now, Mark? Is we had a really excellent bearish engulfing pattern right there on Wednesday of this week. Prices dropped down quickly yesterday below the 8-day moving average, but then rallied back up. They rallied up into the midsection of that big red candle. So bearish engulfing and bearish reversal signal is still in effect. And today's candlestick, not a lot to say about it. We'll see where it closes. If it closes below the 8, that would give us an indication that we're probably going to fall all the way back down into this level of support. There's a nice little gap up there. And the thing to remember about Tesla, this is not a couple of bucks. I mean, if we've dropped the 8 right there and fall into this level here, okay, we're talking about, about 50, somewhere between $15 and $20. So it sets itself up very nicely for a option trade, but also that's the area where I would anticipate bouncing off the 20-day moving average that we would be able to roll in and pick up on TSLL. It's very similar, looks very similar. So somewhere down in that area. Matter of fact, you could put just a standing limit order down to pick this up about 1545 to 1550 mark. I hope that helps. With a stop loss just immediately down below that. Make sure the stop loss is within 5%. 2023 continues to be a year of breakthrough. As I said earlier, I want to make sure that I'm doing what I can to help you put money in your pocket and get over any hangups you may have about trading, any fear you may have about trading. So until next week, aloha, trade well and prosper. Mahalo and God bless.